Alright, so scoring, right? During the game itself, you get a lot of victory points. So you should keep track of it. You get victory points by moving up your or reducing the number of workers that you need for your work. By improving your shipping, or you sometimes get victory points through cities, city keys. So keep track of all of those victory points. At the end of the game, there's only, like I said in the beginning, one of the beginning videos, the person who has the maximum contiguous cities, directly adjacent contiguous buildings, gets to have the maximum number of points. So let me just remove all of this just so that I can show you the graphic for it, or just on the board itself. That's why I'm removing this. Okay, just bear with me 1 second. Alright, remove all of these. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. This one, the person who has the maximum directly adjacent contiguous cities. I cannot stress directly adjacent more than now. Alright. The first person the person who has the longest one gets 18 victory points. And then the person who follows that other person, the first person gets 12 victory points, and then the third person gets 6 victory points. The fourth and fifth person doesn't get any victory points. That person is gone. So you have to make sure that your contiguous cities up. Now, if someone has the equal number of contiguous, no, I keep saying cities, but contiguous buildings, not cities. So let's say someone has equal number of contiguous buildings. So let's say there's a tie between second and third place. So the second and third place persons gets to add this up. So 12 plus 6 is 18, and then 18 by 2 is 9. So each person gets 9 victory points. So that's how it works. And everyone, if there's a tie for, let's say, first place, then 18 by 2 is again 9, and so each person gets 9 victory points. Then your cult. Every person who is first on their cult, so let's say I am leading on my fire cult, then I get 8 victory points. And then the second person leading on the fire cult gets 4 victory points, and then third person leading on the fire cult gets 2 victory points. Similarly, you figure out for water, earth and air. So every person who is leading on every one of those cults get that many points. And again, if there's a tie, you similarly break the tie by adding up the power that the victory points for those 2 places, and then divide that by 2. So if there's a tie for second and third place, then you do 4 plus 2, 6. 6 by 2 is 3. So each person gets 3 points. And that's your victory points. And whoever has the maximum number of victory points wins. There is a very, 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 very important concept that I missed out. And I did not really miss out, I just kept it out for the last part. And that is you getting power. And I told you, you get negative victory points, right? So I never talked about negative victory points. So how do you get negative victory points? Remember this and neighboring matters. I told you neighbors matter a lot, and I literally just talked to you about trade posts. But there's also other places where neighbors matters. If any time I am building a direct or indirect adjacent building to my neighbor, alright, to my neighbor, if I am directly or indirectly adjacently building a building, the neighbor gets power. If I build a settlement next to, so let's say I build a settlement. I build a settlement over here as a new settlement. When I build a settlement, the neighboring yellow, which is the nomad, gets 1 power. But that power comes with a cost. If I get 1 power, then nothing happens. The nomad just moves up 1 power. That's it. But if let's say I'm building a trade post next to my neighbor, the neighbor then gets 2 power, But the power comes with a cost, where if the neighbor moves 2 power, and this is something the neighbor can choose to ignore. The neighbor gets 2 power, but the neighbor also has to move 1 victory point behind. All right. If I'm building a stronghold or a sanctuary next to my neighbor, the neighbor gets to choose to have 3 power points. And for getting the 3 power points, the player has to move back 2 victory points. So that's how this works. So this is very, very important. This is how power comes into play, because a lot of times you are inviting people to come build next to your town or next to your buildings, because you want to gain power, and power doesn't come easily, and power is very, very valuable. Alright, so that pretty much concludes my giant video series of how Terra Mystica works. So it seems a very complex game, but it really is not. Once you start playing it, it's very straightforward. I enjoy, and because there are 14 tribes, the repeatable value on this game is extremely high. So you can play as one tribe one time, and then because of the permutation and combination of how other tribes play out with other tribes, then it gets very, very interesting. So I love this game. So I hope you enjoyed this video series.